Welcome back, tribe. Let's get into it.
Majority of men in their 20s feel the same way. They are invisible to women. Let's hear her reasoning.
A couple of years ago, I was out at a bar with my friend, me and these guys, and we were like kind of talking to them, and the one I was kind of talking to that night, and I was like, oh, like he's like kind of cute. The second he laid eyes on my friend, he was like so much like more into her, right? Where they literally dated, like had a relationship. And for me, whatever, I would never want to be with a guy who was ever in the slightest attracted to any of my friends. So dating, I went a lot, and one of the talking just about the night we had all met, and he was like, oh yeah, like I remember the first night, like I think I was like talking to you for a little bit at first, and like I don't think he meant it in a type of way. We were just literally talking about that night, but in that moment it really made me think, like I really feel like sometimes I just don't get a fair chance compared to my friends.
So basically, they just talk, nothing much. Women are ruthless when choosing someone to be with. They usually go for the top 10%. It's fair enough for the top 10% men to choose whoever they want from these massive pool of women.
I have a little story for you. So you reach a certain age, you're kind of invisible. It's just the way it goes. I'm okay with it. I don't need people to see all the travesty that goes on in my life. I'm okay with being a little bit invisible. But today, I'm walking past pharmacy and there's a guy sitting down to get his blood pressure taken. And he's like, how does this thing work? And I'm like, I don't know. I'll get a pharmacist. They can help you out. He goes, yeah, I'm just feeling a little dizzy. I want to check my blood pressure. So I'm like, cool. And he looks at me and he says, are you a model? Or did you model? And I'm like, you know what? Thank you. No, I'm not a model. Did I model? Circa 1999, probably don't count. It still was nice being asked. You know, when people say things like, you know, when she was younger, she was probably really attractive. It's not a compliment. But this was, because he didn't exactly use past tense. He kind of used like present slash.
You know what? Older women are like that uncle that relives his college days when he was like the star quarterback and he used to be somebody. That's like women reliving their 20s. Back in my day when I was hot and I had everything at my fingertips and I didn't secure the bag. I instead used up my 20s around, and now I'm a 50-year-old hag and I got nothing to show for it. My Uncle Bobby could throw a football over them mountains. Back in my day, I had the strength of 50 men. I was #1 draft pick in the country. If it wasn't for this Achilles injury, I would have been one of the greatest to ever do it. That's like that kind of horseshit. Come on, man. You made a mistake. You had so many men to pick from and secure. You should have just done it. Now you're in a car, alone, talking to yourself in front of a camera, pity party, that you got a compliment that you look like you could have been really hot back in the day. And now you're going back and forth whether it was a compliment or backhanded, stemming from your insecurity of, I had it and I lost it all.
You know, thinking about that story though, he was dizzy.
Sad, bro.
It's just not easy for the woman when she hits a certain age. We're talking about women who've kind of had this high life and then they've stopped getting offers because maybe now she's hit like 38, 40. And then it's almost like they've kind of gone into this dark hole now. It's so toxic. It's like horrible.
Well, here's the thing. Most men don't feel sorry for those women, and I'll tell you why. The reason men don't feel sorry for them is because the experience that she begins to go through when she's older is the experience 90% of men go through every single day. The guy who works at the post office, the guy who helped you pack your bag, the guy who delivered your Amazon parcel, the guy in your class, the guy that you worked with. Most guys are invisible. It is only the high value guys that catches women's attention. The guy who's tall, attractive, in shape, successful. So when women who have had that taste of the high life, have been that desirable, gotten all the attention, everything, they then get to a point where now they're being treated how most guys are treated. Guys don't feel sorry for them. A lot of guys feel that if you wanted to have a partner, have a family and settle down, you get to that point in life and you haven't done that, it's because you definitely had an abundance of opportunity to do that. Very difficult for a lot of guys to have sympathy, because for a lot of guys it's like, this is how it's been for us since day one. And most of us don't even get to a point where we can attract a girl like you. You've been there, you've had the chance to get those guys, but because you decided to play around, maybe you didn't want it serious, and that's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, but you have to accept what comes with the path that you choose.
Can't accept it. A woman who has spent her entire adult life with absolutely comment says, is spitting facts about how it feels to be a man at this age. Not fun when the shoes are on the other foot. I don't feel sad for these types of women because they never feel anything for what they did. They ignore the gentleman, but their legs are wide open for thugs. They're just getting a taste of their own medicine, which is called the wall. They did it to themselves. I'm just going to live my life. As a 29-year-old man that's about to turn 30, it's crazy how now I'm more visible than ever. I went through hell in my teens and most of my 20s though. Basically all the women in my age range. All the fun they had, it's slowing down for them. Meanwhile, I'm now just entering that era of my life. Only difference is I worked for it, earned it, and paid for it in what seems like a lifetime of pain. I'm really, truly grateful. It's so good to be here.
You don't have to feel that way. That's just the nature of progression. For a man, you're never going to be valuable at 20 unless you're an outlier, like an athlete or self-made millionaire or some other extreme thing like coming from a rich family. It's reality. There's nothing to be mad at here. If you play your cards right, you will end up doing well in your 30s and attracting the women you didn't when you were 20. You don't have to be bitter. You don't have to be like, I love seeing them hitting the wall and stuff. That's all irrelevant, bro. That's your bitterness showing. You have to be patient and wait your turn because everybody gets one as long as you put in the work. Women are dealt a different kind of hand where they're given the pair of aces and they're allowed to do whatever they want with them. But in the West, they typically fold in the worst manner possible instead of raising the stakes, aka asking for commitment from a man. They rather get pumped and dumped. They rather get on yachts. They rather get bags. They rather utilize their body as a commodity in exchange for material possessions because YOLO, I'll deal with the consequences later. So far in my life, there was no such thing as consequences. I've gotten away with everything. Men do everything for me. I'm excused for absolutely everything. There's no agency or accountability. So why can't this continue until you get older and men stop looking you as a sexual prospect and just start looking you as like another person. And then the expectations start to level out from society in general. You're an older woman. You should have known better. You're an older woman. You know what the deal is. You come over, we have sex. You're old. Hold the door for you. You can do it yourself. All that extra stuff you used to get as a benefit of beauty and its privilege are now gone.
I would say at around the age of 45.
I remember this lady, yeah. It was ex-supermodel.
Noticing that the way I was perceived was slightly different than what I had become used to. And then I would put photos of myself in bikinis. All of a sudden, I started getting the influx of, are you a little desperate there, Grandma? How about you cover up and spare us the look of your poor aging body? I was sort of getting relinquished to the invisible women category. It dawned on me that when you walk down the street, when you're a younger woman, it's like every man passes you and goes, is she fuckable? Now you can most definitely walk down the street without having anybody bounce anything off of you. Like people will literally just walk into you. And you think, hold on a second.
I'm a man now.
I am actually a far more interesting person than I've ever been.
So, guys.
Oh my God. This is what she looked like when she was young. Look at her. Dude, super model. Was dating, I can't remember who, and then divorced him because she thought she could do better. She was dating some real top guy too. I forgot his name, but we covered it in this episode. Same deal, bro. Look at absolutely gorgeous. For the first time in her life as she was approaching old woman age, she started to feel like a man. Nobody cares about you. You're invisible. Nothing gets handed to you for free. Welcome to the world, sweetheart. At least you got to live out up until around age 40 with this privilege because you had some extreme beauty, which got you some nice income and some notoriety and fame in the world. So yours got extended out to 40. Most women hit the wall way earlier. The wall is moving. It's a very fluid concept. If you're out partying, if you're out getting drunk, if you're doing drugs, if you're not getting any sleep, if you're not eating right, the wall hits you faster. The more you take care of yourself, the more you can prolong the wall. Most women today in the West are living the party lifestyle. They're not eating healthy at all. It's all about like Chick-fil-A and McDonald's. It's all about doing God knows what substances and drinking yourself blackout drunk at who knows his house party or going on those crazy Burning Man festivals and all this other crazy shit. And then you end up hitting the wall way earlier. You like got the 1,000 cocks there. You could see it in their face, dude. The soul has left the body. This is somebody who has seen it all and they're not even 25 yet. And it's wow. You aged horribly, and it all could have been avoided. So this one was The Rise of Invisible Women by a really small channel, guys. Whoever recommended it. It's called Alpha Anthem.